welcome back to the Content Podcast. I'm joined, as you can probably tell by the surroundings, another member of the TalkSport family. This is someone who's got probably the best hair at TalkSport.
Not probably.
He's incredibly established, and he's one of the funniest people around. So now my introduction is out the way. I'm joined by Andy Goldstein.
Oh, it's very kind. Not probably the best, and not probably the funniest. The best and the funniest.
Just quickly before we get into it, if you could have a different haircut, what would you go for? Mine?
You got good hair.
Thanks, mate.
But you've got the fade. See,
Yeah.
how old are you?
23.
You can do the fade. I can't do the fade. I've tried it before. It just doesn't look right.
No, I think as I mature a little bit, I'll probably grow the sides out.
Remember, I had another haircut. No, I grew it long.
Yeah, you did. I was a bit gutted when you cut it, to be honest with you. I think everyone got into your head there, Andy.
No one got into my head. That was it. I did it because it was annoying people. And then when it stopped annoying people, then I had it cut.
Okay, so obviously, as we've spoke about a little bit just before we started, you don't do the podcast being the guest opposed to being the interviewer.
No.
So how are you feeling?
I'm all right. It's quite nice. I've got no work to do.
Feel a bit weird?
Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, if you want. You want to just get sweared out the way now?
No, not yet.
No, just naturally.
I'll fucking wait.
Okay, so for me anyway, I think being a presenter, you've got to be a certain way. You've got to perceive life in a different way. So, for example, if you're watching the TV, any sports, there's always that presenter mode that kicks in, isn't there? You think, oh, that would be a good topic, or that would be a good discussion to speak about. So, what age did you realise that this is what you want to go into? Because I don't think this is something that you stumble into, is it?
No, that's a good question. Firstly, I was useless at everything at school, so I really didn't have too many options. And I always wanted to be and to do what I'm doing now, but I just felt when I was a kid and when I was sort of leaving school, saying you wanted to be a TV presenter was like saying, I want to play for England.
Yeah.
People go, yeah, but what do you really want to do? And also, when I was doing it, I'm a little bit older than you, when I was doing it, being famous wasn't something people wanted to be. It wasn't a thing. It was before Big Brother, so no one wanted to be a presenter just to be on the telly. People were presenters because they were good at it or they were well educated or whatever. Excuse me. So when I got into it, I was lucky that I got into it before it became a thing for, a platform for people to, make themselves known to the rest of the world. There was no Instagram, there was no Twitter and so on. But I didn't really pursue a dream till I was quite late, 28, 29. I had normal jobs. I was like David Brent. I was genuinely like an office manager in a publishing company, and I left there. And I got a job temping at Channel 4 in the post room when I was 28 or 29. And I bumped into an old girlfriend in a club near where I lived. And she said, what do you do now? And I said, I work at Channel 4. And she went, we knew you'd be a presenter. And I went, yeah, I'm a presenter. That's why I should be in the building. And on the Monday morning after that, I went up to Andy Peters, who at the time was editor of T4. I knocked on his door because I used to give him his post. And I said, I want to be a presenter. What do I do? And he said, you need to get a certain book with production companies' names in it. You need to make a show reel. And he took me through the whole thing. And then I made the show. I got to know everyone at Channel 4 and just stole loads of stuff. So I stole about 200 5-minute video cassettes. Videos were a thing. There was no email back then. That's how long ago it was. And then I got friendly with someone in press, so they managed to copy my show reel 200 times. I came in over a 2-3 week period with sports bags filled with Jiffy bags with my show reel and illegally put it through the franking machine and then just sent 200-300 show reels out.
So after that, then the rest was probably history, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took a bit of time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, as we know, from then up until now, there's been plenty of experiences. You're on TalkSport every weekday, if I'm not mistaken, and then you do Man U TV amongst other things that you do as well. Is there any moment that you look back at your career, and I understand, you have to sort of have like a tunnel vision, always look forward and never get too into the mindset of believing your own hype, because I think that's when you sort of peak down, isn't it, when you start thinking that you're the what.
Oh no, I know that now. I've known that since I was 8. Yeah. Whether or not I'm right, but that's what I think.
But so, is there any particular event or work day or moment that really hit home for you, thinking that when you were in the post room at Channel 4, you thought, right, this is exactly that I dreamt of?
When I sent all those show reels out, one of the first bites I ever got was from a company called Planet 24, and at the time they made a show called The Big Breakfast, which was the morning show, the breakfast show on Channel 4 every weekday. And they were looking for a couple of new presenters for different segments in their show. So the very first gig I ever got, I left the post room on a Friday, and I took a week's holiday, and I flew to LA, and I did a junket for a film called Bandits with Bruce Willis in, and the very, very first person I ever interviewed in my life was Bruce Willis.
Wow.
Then he left, and I had Billy Bob Thornton, and then I had Angelina Jolie as well, and Halle Berry. They were the first 4 people that I ever interviewed, and I thought, fuck me, this is easy. I've made it now.
Yeah, done. All
and
good.
when I was talking to them, I would say like, "Oh, that was great in the film," you know what? And while they're answering, I'm thinking, "You don't even know I'm a fucking postman. This is amazing."
Yeah, it's all good. You got to fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, cool. I'm still doing that now, right?
That's how we're all here now, anyway. But you know, and one thing quickly that I wanted to ask before I show you a quick video is, look, at the end of the day, you know, you're a presenter, you're a broadcaster, you're someone who is there to entertain others. But then when things go wrong or don't go great in your personal life, when you've got things to deal with that are very serious, you know, you've gone through a lot over the last couple of years personally.
I have.
Yeah, you have.
Have I?
Yeah, you've gone through some stuff.
What have I gone through?
Well, I don't want, you know.
You can say whatever you want.
No. I'm just saying, generally, you know, people obviously go through a lot of stuff, don't they? But then I think, you know, a lot of people seem to forget that presenters are actually normal people.
We are very normal people.
I'm
guessing. I think you're alluding to where my dad passed away.
Yeah, that's one example.
Can talk about that. That's fine.
I know, but you know.
Of course, everyone's dad dies. It's just something that happens, isn't it?
Of course, yeah, you know, but you want to tread carefully.
Yeah,
right?
but listen, that's just part of life, right?
Of course, and you know, if I'm not mistaken, did you find out when you were at work?
I was on air.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a prime example of what I'm talking about, really.
By the way, can I say I left after an hour, and I still got paid for the whole show.
Amazing. Thank you, Talk Sport. Right.
I don't even think they know. My agent just put the invoice on.
It's too late.
Don't fucking say anything.
But yeah, so you know, obviously, when you do go through things like that, you know, no, the obviously the outside world won't know, and then when you do come back to work, there's none of this, you know. Just we'll ease you in, come in for an hour, come in for 2 hours, and then you've got to go straight back into it, and not only go back into work, but going back to being Andy Goldstein, if that makes sense.
I think.
How do you deal with that?
It's a good question. I think my understanding is it's very similar to when a footballer crosses that white line. Having spoken to lots of footballers and asked, they've had stuff going on in their personal life, and I'm like, how do you deal with that? And when they cross the white line, they're sort of away from reality.
A bit like escapism kind of thing.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. And I think it's the same for radio. When that red light goes on, even if you're feeling unwell or you've got shit going on in the world. I remember once I did a show. I was soon to have root canal on my teeth. I don't think you can get it anywhere else, can you? Can it only be in you? Anyway.
Yeah.
And the pain was so bad that when I got home that night, my wife was like, "How's your teeth?" And I started crying. And I was like, "I can't even talk. He's fucking killing me." But I did that show that night, and I'd be like that in the ab rack. We're like, and it go kick, and I go, "Next up, we've got." So you just forget about it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I always think, you know, because there is this almost this sort of mask you've got to put on a little bit, and I know you're very similar.
I don't think it's a mask. I don't think I'm any different.
No,
this is like now you and I sitting here.
Yeah.
It makes no difference that I've got this.
Yeah.
I mean, you can vouch for that, right?
Yeah,
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah,
there is no. I'd like to think there is no difference.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's always something that I always thought, how do people sort of manage that? You know what I mean? Especially when they get higher up and they've got more responsibility.
Yeah.
It leaves very little room to hide if that
I just think
sense.
I take nothing too serious.
Which I think is brilliant, to be honest.
And fuck about as much as possible.
Okay. Speaking about how much you fuck about.
Yeah.
Talk Sport, obviously you're out very often.
Yes.
You're wondering where I'm going with this, right? No,
yeah.
So in preparation for this interview, as I like to do with all of my guests, I like to speak to a few people that know you. And I thought, you know...
Fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I thought I'd make it quite a Talk Sport special. So I asked a few people in and around the office
okay,
what they think of Andy Goldstein. So take a look at this.
Andy Goldstein. What should I say about this guy? First of all, he thinks he's funnier than he actually is, but he's not. He hasn't got great hair. He's got grey hair, not great hair. Supports an awful team like yourself, Anil, Manchester United. And yeah, he's a real pain to be around all the time. So yeah, I've not really got too much to say about Andy Goldstein. I'm only joking. What a guy he is. Obviously, we've been knowing each other for a little while now. Been working together for a little while. I mean, it pains me to say it, but listen, he is a great guy. Obviously, in this industry, there's people you have to look to for advice, look to make yourself better. And for me, he is that person. Working with him day in, day out has made me a better broadcaster, which I hate because that's what the bosses say. But listen, he's a top guy. Someone who's timeless. You can confide in, talk to him about things. Will always offer his time for advice, to help. And listen, for me, it's a real privilege to be working with him every single day. So hopefully next season it'll be a lot more. We're 3 times a week this week. Hopefully with a bit of luck, it'll be a little bit more. But listen, what a great guy he is. Can't speak highly enough of him. And yeah, that's enough. Andy Goldstein, love him. But listen, take care. Good luck, man.
Hi Andy, it's Dan here. I've been asked to put together a little video on what I think of you. I think you're alright. No, I'm joking. I think you're a top bloke, mate. You can always tell a good bloke if you can go out to the pub and have a fuckload of beers with them. I tell you what, we've done that enough times. Thanks for making me like olives as well, and hopefully many more big evenings to come. Might see Moonface here and there.
Hello, mate.
All right, mate.
What do you think of Andy Goldstein?
Oh, Andy Goldstein. I've worked with him for over a year now. So hard-working, professional, such an accomplished broadcaster. Just a great human being, brilliant in the pub, always gets his wallet out. Yeah, great bloke, love working with him. Can't wait for another year, 2 years, 3 years, and however long, for the rest of my life.
Jason, mate, are you okay to still do the 1 minute video of what you think of
God's
Andy?
sakes, mate.
No?
Honestly, have I got to do this?
I think
Have I got to tell the truth? He's an absolute pain in the arse, mate. Seriously, I can't tell the truth.
go on.
People hate him. Oh, are you ready? I love Andy. What a great bloke. Honestly, brilliant presenter, great friend. I've been working with him 15 years. I can rely on him. He's funny. He's he's not quite, he's not articulate. He's funny. Great fun to work with. A true friend, and I love him dearly. And he's doing incredibly well because he's a brilliant presenter. You know, am I going to get away with that line?
I think you've got 10 more seconds
Have
if
I
you
got
want to.
away with that line?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the best you get.
So, just before I drop the notes, how does that feel? I mean, it's a mixed bunch. It's a mixed bunch.
I think it proves that I work with some of the worst actors that have ever fucking been born in the world. I think you can tell that they all secretly love me.
Yeah, there's a soft spot, isn't there?
They all
for
attack
Andy
my hair
Goldstein?
because they know it's fucking great. You got nice people to say nice things, and I do always put my hand in my pocket when we go to the pub.
Exactly, and everyone's going to the pub tonight. Are you gonna? I think I owe you a drink after this, really, don't you?
Fucking right, yeah. That's a gobble down my sandwich in 4 seconds.
Did you enjoy it?
It was alright. I
There
mean, I've
you
got
go.
indigestion. There's nothing to do about it.
Well, speaking about things that either one of us have enjoyed, in 2019, I'm not sure if you remember, I dropped you a message on Instagram. This was before I worked at TalkSport. This was still when I was at university, just with a dream, if you like, just for a bit of advice. And you gave me a bit of advice saying, it might sound a bit cliche, but if you really want it, you'll get it, and you've got to work for it. And I took your advice on board, and somehow something clearly worked. And you know,
You're sat next to me on a couch.
exactly. And I remember putting the last message I put to you was, "Good luck for your show, and I'll see you at the top one day." And now I'm not quite at the top, but for me, this is pretty up there.
Can I just make a point of saying now? I don't know why I replied to you, right? Because I never reply. Do not fucking DM me. I'm not going to reply to anyone. I must have been stuck on a train, seriously, and had 5 minutes to kill and gone, for fuck's sake, these kids. Yeah, fine, okay. Copy and paste.
There you go.
I honestly don't reply to DMs, but I did that day, and that's great.
No, yeah. I think
Maybe
so.
I saw something.
You did, from just that one message that you saw.
Maybe
you
I did,
thought-
yeah.
you thought- and what about now? Do you see a little bit more, or probably not?
No.
No, okay.
Well, I'm very impressed with your setup here.
Thank you. Yeah,
Looks great.
All the gear, no idea. Clearly.
I've done stuff for TalkSport before. It doesn't look this impressive, and I'm not
Wow.
joking.
Well, thank you very much.
This is great.
So, yeah, I'll take that. So obviously, you know, you gave me a bit of advice that day, and to stop obviously everyone DMing you, asking you for their own personal bespoke piece of advice. What would the one piece of advice be from you to maybe a younger version of yourself, or someone who is chasing their dreams, no matter what it's in? What would that one piece of advice be?
What would that one piece of advice be? I think it's similar to what I told you. If you want it bad enough, you'll get it. But just don't take no for an answer. Just keep going. I mean, I literally sent out 200-300 show reels and just kept knocking on the door and kept going and going and going. Yeah, I think it's important. You've got to get into the place of work where you want to work.
Yeah.
So it's no point being an accountant and desperately wanting to be a TV presenter or radio presenter because you're not in the right environment. So get into the work for free. I worked for free for ages.
Yeah.
And make friends with as many people as possible, and then bribe them. Get them doing stuff that if their wife or husband found out, it could ruin their marriage. And then just go up to them one day in the pub and go, "Do you want that to get out?" And if they go no, you go, "Well, maybe I should be working on your show."
So just blackmail and
Blackmail.
threats. Yeah, there you go. There's the key to Andy Goldstein's success.
Oh no, it's not my success. Mine's raw talent.
Yeah, you're on
But
the
I'm
board
just
with
saying,
it,
if you're
right?
not as talented as me, blackmail someone.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So
what
you've
I'm
heard it
saying.
here first. So just to round up things, 'cause I know obviously you're a very busy man sometimes, right? We've got some
I've
quick
got to eat my egg.
quick fire questions, and then you can enjoy your
Okay.
egg.
How many are there?
A few. We'll rattle through them, right?
Okay.
Favourite ever Man United player? And I think we've done well not to speak about Man United, but
We have.
pound in pound. Pound for pound, sorry.
Brian
Favourite
Robson.
ever.
Brian
Robson, yeah.
When I was a kid going to school, he was my idol, and I'm lucky enough to have worked with him loads
Amazing,
of times.
mate.
And
Amazing.
Even though I'm still sort of like mid-30s, I still when I'm with him, in my head's going, "Fucking hell, it's Brian Robson."
Yeah.
Oh, Robbo.
Yeah, that is just crazy. So we'll rattle through them, like I say. If you could sign anyone from the current game for Man United now, who'd it be?
If I could sign anyone that's currently playing and bring them to Man United,
Should we answer at the same time? I think I know you're going to say.
Oh, I don't think you do because I don't know yet.
Okay, when you do, we'll guess at
Okay.
the same time. Ready?
Hold on.
Current player for Man United now.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah?
Wait. Why are you pushing
It's
me?
quick fire. Is it?
Well, you quickly fired them off. I haven't quickly fired. They're not quick answer, are they?
Yeah, all right, okay.
I will go for. Okay.
Got
What
it?
now? As they are now. The player?
Now, yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Harry Kane.
Haaland.
Haaland. What did you say? Haaland as well?
Holland Kane. I said.
Yeah, Haaland. There we go.
Haaland
Okay,
Kane.
we're moving swiftly on. Best memory working at Talk Sport.
Fucking hell, I can't remember what I got up the stairs for. Best memory at Talk Sport. I've got millions. I don't know. I once did a drive show out and Deck came in. That was brilliant.
Oh, amazing.
Um,
I've got one if you're struggling, but I'll give you a few seconds.
when we had our head shaved, we lost a bet and we had our head shaved.
Wow.
So we had a bet that Liverpool wouldn't win the Premier League.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
whatever number they finished, we would have that gradient.
Oh.
So they finished second. So Joanne Beckham, David's sister, who was my hairdresser, she came in and shaved our heads while we were on the phone to Brendan Rodgers, who at the time was the manager. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say the kid that phoned up.
Schmaltz Herring.
Schmaltz Herring.
Yeah, it's up there with probably the best piece of media I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
The voices, the nerve. I
Yeah,
think was
do
the
you know
best
what?
bit.
That was
the balls.
At the time, I don't think we realised how unbelievable that was.
I think I was listening to that live. You know,
Were you?
it was on the sports
wasn't
bar,
you, was
wasn't
it?
it? No.
Hello.
Hello.
Wasn't me.
It was-
But I still get stopped in the street about that one.
Yeah, I'm
and
not surprised,
I'm
mate.
so glad that kid has never ever phoned back. That would
No,
ruin it.
'cause,
Don't
yeah,
phone back.
Don't phone back.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, Schmaltz, don't.
Yeah.
Just a couple more. Most famous person you've ever met?
Probably Bruce Willis.
And the first one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. You set the bar, and then everything
Yeah.
else follows.
And then it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult to name. I mean, Princess Di told me never names drop,
yeah.
and I thought, well, because I won't.
Yeah, of course. Just a couple more left. One thing in your career that you regret. I'm not sure what you're gonna say, but
Fucking hell. I did
how long you got?
I did I did a show. I don't regret anything because of
I
course
thought
they're
that'd
all
be your
stepping
answer.
stones.
Yeah, of course.
But I did a show for either Channel 5 or Sky 1, I can't remember what it was, and it was called The Unofficial World Records of Sex. And when I signed up to do it, I was presenting, by the way, I wasn't involved in the activities. When I signed up, I thought, this sounds fucking great. I was about 27, 28. No, I was about 29. And it was just horrific. Do you want me to tell you about a couple of...
Well, if you've got the time, then that's fine. We can keep rolling.
So they were actual sex world records that they actually set up. So a record didn't exist. And they went, oh, I wonder if we can create a world record for and so we did them, and they were like the world's deepest sex, which was going on a boat down in the ocean, deepest, and then 2 people have sex. So that was one. There was sex on horseback. How long? The most sexual positions in a minute, and I was in a room in Vegas with 2 porn stars with a clicker going one, and that was horrific. But the worst.
That wasn't the worst one.
No,
Oh,
and
wow.
I can say anything, right?
Yeah, within reason.
The worst one was they decided to come up with. I've never told this story, obviously, because I can't tell it on air. Like they decided to come up for world record for longest ejaculation, and the producer said, "Don't worry, we're not going to fucking do that. That's horrific. So we're going to take these 3 lads over the park, and we're going to film like cutaways, like single shots of an arm going like that, and then their face going like that." And then we'll get a fairy liquid bottle and we'll film that, and that will be, and so it's sort of tongue in cheek, but so we filmed that, and then it went to the commissioner, and the commissioner said everything else looks real, that looks fake, so you're gonna have to film it for real. So we went to this club in Old Kent Road, which was floor, seat, wall, and ceiling, carpet, all one row, and it was dark room, and they had a big telly on the wall, and these 3 guys were there. They must have been 21, 22. And I had to say, okay, behind me is Brian. Brian's obviously getting ready. And you can see Brian going like that, right? And then they'd be watching a porn film. But obviously you've got a cameraman, me, a sound man, runners. So it was difficult for them. And they were all having a go. And anyway, whoever was the first guy went, I'm going, like that. And, and then the runner...
What is going on?
The runner, right? Had to fucking measure with a tape measure. Go like that, go, that's 2'4", and then I'd go. So there was Brian, 2'4" is the world record. That's probably the lowest moment.
Wow.
Only because I didn't win.
Well, yeah.
Came second is probably the punchline there you're looking for.
Okay, yeah, we'll move swiftly on.
Yeah.
So there's one final question.
Is that a good answer? Is that all right?
Yes, amazing.
Can you use that without staying?
Yeah, we can use it. Don't
Okay.
worry, there's no rules as long as we don't get cancelled or anything like that. We're not into that.
As long as what? We don't get...
We're cancelled. Yeah, cancel
You
culture.
said cancer, I'm like,
No, Jesus.
where's
wow.
this going? Jesus.
No, not there. And the final one I've got
Yeah.
written down. What's the best podcast you've appeared on after that question?
Oh, you want me to say this one, don't you?
Well, once.
This is by far...
Yeah, can you just look in the camera?
This is by far... How much you pay me? Nothing. The worst, the best... Oh my God, there's Gabby Roslin. She can't say... I was going to get her to come in. This is by far the best podcast I have ever been a part of and ever will be a part of. No matter what happens to me, if I go on to present the Oscars and at the end of that evening they go, can we just do a podcast? I go, yeah. They sit me down. They go, oh, you've given out all these awards to the best actors in the world. Pacino won one, De Niro won one. And I go, yeah. And they go, is that the best part? And I go, no. And Nils is. And they go, really? And they go, is that the one where you talk about the kids? And I go, you don't need to mention it, but yes, that's the one.
So do you know when someone asks you what your biggest regret is in the future, it's going to be talking about it on this podcast?
Oh, I don't mind talking about it. I couldn't give a fuck about that. It's fine.
There we go. And one final, very, very final question. This isn't a quick fire one, so take your time with it.
Okay.
And this is what I like to end all my podcasts on.
All right.
Are you happy? Is Andy Goldstein
Great
a happy
question.
individual?
Andy Goldstein is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 11 happy.
Amazing.
I'm incredibly lucky. I always say that the job I have isn't really a job. I just watch a lot of football and then talk about it for 3 hours. I'm surrounded by wonderful people sometimes. And I come to an amazing place of work. And it's just the best fucking gig in the world. So, in answer to your question, I've got a wonderful family. Everything's brilliant. And I've got fantastic hair. More importantly, if I was bald, that answer probably wouldn't be anywhere near a 10. But because I am... We're still waiting for a shampoo ad, by the way.
Yeah.
Actually, 9 out of 10.
Because
If I get a shampoo ad, it's... Where the fuck are Head and Shoulders?
it's a joke.
Timotei, whatever they're called.
Anything really. would
Well,
do.
agent would decide that.
L'Oreal?
Only because I'm worth it.
And on that note, thank you very much,
My
Andy.
pleasure, I loved
thank you. A pleasure,
My
as
pleasure.
always. And all that's left is to say thank you to you who has watched today's episode. Please be sure to like, subscribe on all the social medias. Andy will be definitely doing so. For more content, buy the content. Stay safe, everyone, and buy Jingo. Is that a good podcast?
Hold on.
What?
What the fuck do you mean stay? That's mine. Come up, you want to nick my job and my fucking... Come up with your own one.
And cut.